Towards the end of April, Piedmont was annexed to France, King Charles Emmanuel IV abdicating and retiring to Sardinia, which remained under his authority. On 8 May, the French crossed the Po, and 2 days later forced the narrow bridge over the Adda at Lodi. On the 15th, Bonaparte made his formal entry into Milan. His army was, of course, living off the conquered land, requisitioning food and accommodation as necessary. But for the members of the Directory, this was not enough. Their instructions were to levy huge contributions both from the Italian states and from the Church, not just to support the troops, but to send back to Paris, and Napoleon obeyed them to the letter. The neutral Duke of Parma, to take but one example, was obliged to hand over 2 million French livres and 20 of his best pictures to be chosen personally by the commander in chief. Few of the major towns escaped having to give up their Raphaels, their Titians, and their Leonardos. Many of these found their way to the Louvre or to other French museums where they still hang today. With the occupation of Milan, all Lombardy was now in French hands, save only Mantua. But the Austrians fought back with such determination that by 13 November we find Bonaparte confessing to the Directory, in a mixture of exhaustion and despair, his fears that all Italy might soon be lost. Only in early 1797 did his spirits begin to recover. On 14 January, he engaged the Austrians at Rivoli, a village some 14 miles north of Verona between the Adige River and Lake Garda. He lost 2,200 men in the action, but his army inflicted 3,300 casualties on the enemy and took 7,000 prisoners. The following day, his general Joubert, pursuing the fleeing Austrians, captured another 6,000. Meanwhile, Joubert's colleague André Masséna, having marched southward all night, surrounded and captured a second Austrian column, now isolated outside Mantua. From that day, Mantua was cut off without hope of relief.